skill sets, emotional intelligence. We just trademarked a thing called belief intelligence.
Fantastic.
And so I'm finding that they're not learning the context. They're learning the information, but it comes in and goes out so fast.
Yeah.
We want them really to root in a context of to be amazing humans and to have the right relationships that can open up doors, and they can go out there and have passion and commitment and follow through. So we created a school system, started off with one school last year, 2 years ago, then we did 2 more schools this year. They're smaller community-based schools.
Fabulous.
But we have an online component. So when COVID hit, our kids were already online. So we just switched our teachers from in-classroom to online help, which was great. But I find that a lot of athletes that are at a very high-performing level, they want to train 6 hours a day. Or, training, is also stretching. It's your aerobic stuff. It's your lifting. It's not just like on field for football. It's also watching video, learning the sport, the history. So there's a lot that goes into it. But so we're supporting athletes at that so that they can come to school less, or they can work online to then be able to dedicate themselves to their first career. And when I say first career, it's you always have a second career after athleticism because you'll get bored even if you make a ton of money. So I love how we're able to, and I find that more actors and athletes that are high performing, they want an alternative to a regular 9 to 4 school.
Yeah. So I think that's terrific. What you're highlighting, me, Daniel, is the role that technology is playing in sports now.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of one of the first companies that we invested in, a company called Strive out of Seattle. And I got excited about Strive because, being a big soccer nut, I would see soccer players, some of our best players, on the sidelines because they got injured and they're coming back from injury. And they're like, "Coach, I'm ready to play. Put me in." And they really aren't. And then they get injured again. And then they get seriously injured. What Strive do, and this is why it's so exciting, the space we're in, they measure the performance of muscles before, during, and after injury. They can measure the performance of muscles and fatigue through a training session. So what they're able to do now is actually give athletes feedback about how certain activities are impacting their muscles. In other words, what's the right training for them, and giving them data. When a player gets injured, they can tell them, okay, where are they at? Are they ready to come back? Are they not? And they can really help them raise their game. And Strive are leveling this playing field, because you're right. Certain players have had real opportunities and privilege, but the nice thing about technology is it's pervasive. It's more available to many, many people. And I think they're definitely making a difference here in really helping real talent, or people maximize their talent. They aren't in the consumer space yet, but that's somewhere where I think they could go for sure. But it's that sort of thing is what we're really excited about, is to folks who are really making a transformational difference in sports. And then by doing that, helping a really broad population of athletes, including all of us.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. I would love to know more about Strive, because that's we one of Jake's friends is an agent, but they're tied into a soccer club here in South Florida.
Right.
And it's amazing to be able to see. I probably had 15 coaches over like a 3 or 4 year time period. And there are so many individual athletes like myself that need multiple coaches in different spaces, because I had kickboxing and boxing and jiu-jitsu, submission and wrestling and strength and conditioning and weightlifting and, strategy. And I had a mindset coach. There's so many coaches that I had over my great career that I'm super blessed. And if I were to do it over, I would have done it a little different, because I know what I can do, which you and I go through this now, and we're like, we can help you. Don't make the same mistake.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's another company that comes to mind, Kabuki Strength. And Chris and Rudy at Kabuki Strength, they are powerlifters, and they are redefining equipment to help people get better results through lifting and avoiding injury. But they come to mind because they have an incredibly successful online coaching business. And it's like, so Chris, how do you do that? And of course, I didn't grow up in this world where everybody has a camera and it's easy to take video of yourself. And they're now basically providing remote coaching for lifting athletes all around the world. And it's incredibly successful, and it's evidenced by the results their customers are getting. So I do see that. I think the power of sports is very, very important in people's lives. And technology is now helping that become much, much pervasive and hopefully more available to everybody. Obviously, we do have inequality challenges, and this is something I am passionate about. And not everybody has equal access to the internet, for example. And, that is a travesty that we've got to adjust as certainly one of the leading nations in the world. But I think there are a lot of good things happening which are leveling the playing field.
So I love Kabuki Strength. It looks amazing. And this is the most amazing thing. A coach or like a trainer, if you go to a gym, costs anywhere from $50 to $250 an hour. He gives virtual coaching monthly for $250. And there's weekly program management, movement coaching. There's so much that he gives. It's interesting on what technology has done, what Intel has done, what Apple, so many of these, amazing companies. What I find is at the end of the day is the companies do so much, but our mindset, like what you're doing today, is shifting the world, because people can go buy another cell phone, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean they're going to be happier.
Yes, exactly.
And they spend so much money on this, but they're not necessarily open to spending money on this.
Yeah, very true.
I always challenge people. I'm like, what is more valuable to you, your stuff or your life?
Yes.
Your way of being, your friendships, so many people want the money, and then they're like, oh, I have to work 6 days a week to be able to afford all this stuff. And then they're wondering at 40 or 50 why they're caught up in a huge rat race with getting 1 day off a week. Like, to me, that's crazy.
Yeah, they've mortgaged their future.
And, I mean, I know somebody that they went to med school, they owed $250,000. They bought a house, $750,000. So by 25, 26, 27, $1 million in debt.
Yeah.
2 kids, another $2 million. So by 30 years old, $3 million in debt. I mean, it's crazy to me that I'm like, interesting. That's expensive life.
It is, and it comes back to what I was saying before about my own journey, my leadership journey of what do I think others think I should be doing? What am I trying to aspire to other people's perceptions, society's perception of what success is, rather than that shifting to what's really important to me. That's a big difference. And the hard thing as well is it takes some time sometimes to figure that out. We can't be like, I give an example of someone who's been incredibly successful, one of my clients who did figure that out. Kevin Adler is the co-founder of Miracle Messages. Miracle Messages is a leading not-for-profit in the Bay Area that works with people experiencing homelessness and making a incredible change in that area. Kevin really developed his passion because his uncle was on the streets and died, and he realized that he could make a difference. And then he tried a few things and figured out his passion was to help people experiencing homelessness reconnect to their loved ones. And he's essentially incredibly talented guy, but committed the 5 or 6 years of his life to this. Now, Kevin would say he started out with a few $100s in the bank, and it's not been about making a lot of money, but I would say he is one of the richest people that I know in terms of what he's accomplished in his life and the satisfaction he gets from that. So he's a living example, really, of it's not about all these things that we pile up that make the difference. It's about what we do.
Well, I love it. We could probably spend like 24 hours talking about this stuff. Tell me one last thing. What, going back to your first thing, when you ask people, what does it look like to you? Like, what does your life look like? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be known for? To you, what does that mean?
I would say it's a great example with Kevin. I've been working with Kevin for 3 years. Seeing Kevin now thriving and making a huge difference in his community, having reconnected 350 people who are experiencing homelessness now back to their loved ones, he's really fulfilling his purpose. If I can help people like Kevin do that, then that's the most rewarding and satisfying thing that I can do. There's nothing that replaces that. Seeing somebody get the results that they didn't think was possible is amazing. I guess it's priceless, because you can't buy it. You can only do that through helping them and seeing them thrive. So that's the thing that I've learned now for me is really what it's about. And, obviously I want to make a living at that. But it pales in comparison to the privilege of working with those folks.
You guys, you heard it from Andy. Thank you for your time today. I'm really super blessed to have you. And I would love to take you to dinner next time I'm in Oregon, or take you to lunch or coffee, whatever you have time for. And love to spend some more time with you. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. And it'd be a blessing to get to know you more.
Likewise, Daniel, it would be an absolute pleasure. And it really has been my pleasure to be on your show. And kudos to you. What you're doing is truly inspiring. Meeting people like yourself, it brings up the question to me of, am I doing enough? And that's an important question that I have to wrestle with. And I think I can do more. And you're a great example of somebody who's making a big impact in the world.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You guys, check out right down below. You'll see Andy Robbins' link. There'll be a couple websites, his LinkedIn. You guys can connect with him, book them for your companies and your organizations or personal to transform and or add value to your life. Andy, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for your time today. Every single week, you guys, on Tuesday, we have another Significant to Breed Success podcast that go out of humans that are adding value and changing this world for the better of mankind and womankind. So I appreciate you. Thanks, Andy. Have a great week.
Thank you. And you.
Bye.